T minus 30 seconds. T minus 20 seconds. Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Kush's Corner here on the Trap Talk Reptile Network, the coolest reptile network in the world. Tonight, I'm joined once again by Chas Ewing of More Than Morelia. We got some cool stuff to talk about tonight. First and foremost, the recent success he had breeding Gonyosoma jansenii, an incredible species that I am a huge fan of. But before we get into the conversation, as always, USARC. So USARC is the organization that is fighting for our rights to keep our reptiles, to run our reptile businesses, and to live this lifestyle. Check out usarc.org for everything you need to know about the organization. That website is also where you can find alerts on any pieces of legislation introduced either at the national level or at local levels, as well as updates on progress of any pieces of legislation. usarc.org is also where you can become a member of the organization. As a community, we have strength in numbers, and the more people that are behind the cause, the better. And here we are. Thank you to everybody for being here, whether you are live or listening or watching after the fact. If you are here on YouTube, please subscribe to the Trap Talk Reptile Network here on YouTube. We post a new podcast every single day of the week from some of the best hosts in the game, talking about a wide variety of topics from within the reptile industry. We are also on the audio platforms, be that Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Play, wherever you get your podcast from. You can find the Trap Talk Reptile Network. A follow and a 5-star review on any of those platforms would be most appreciated. And with that housekeeping out of the way, let's bring Chas onto the show. What's going on, dude? Thank you for being here this evening with me.
What's up, man? How are you?
Doing pretty good. Definitely a little hectic here this evening. We had some, I had some technical issues at the very, very last second that hopefully don't show themselves during the show, but we're kind of winging it here now. I mean, shoot, man, it's been how long since we've done an episode? Like about 5 months or so, would you say?
I think so.
Yeah. So, I mean, shoot, during that time, I mean, what's new aside from the obvious?
Well, this time of year, it's getting a little cool, so I'm kind of on the wind down of everything that's going to be brumated.
Sure.
So given last meals to like probably half the snakes that are here. So they're just, riding it out till probably the end of the month, and then they'll be looking to be put down. But not things like jansenii. Those are always a thing, always getting attention. Just had some bird snakes hatch.
Yep, congratulations.
Cool. Crazy turn of events of that being like a 4 clutch process to hatch these babies. I actually gave the male away because I didn't think he was doing anything. I didn't think he was locking up, and then I gave him away, and then like 2 weeks later she laid more eggs, and like 2 weeks after that I could tell that they were fertile. So I was like, okay, maybe this is it.
Wow. Was there any obvious signs up front that those eggs were in fact the fertile ones, or were they kind of like the same that you had gotten previously?
Well, I think the eggs from clutch number 3 were mostly good, but the male jumped in the lay box and ate 9 of them.
Oh,
yeah.
Well, that's not very helpful when it comes to hatching baby snakes.
No. Yeah, that hasn't apparently been documented before. Nobody else has had an issue with this. And when I originally checked on him, he was in a hide on the other side of the cage. So I was like, okay, I'll just let her finish. And like 20 minutes later, I could see like his tail sticking up. So I knew he was out. And his head was in the box. And they regurgitate shells. So, you know, one by one, they started coming up.
Yeah.
And he ate 9 of what I think was 13 eggs.
Where was the female during this whole event?
I mean, she was in the box laying the eggs, and he dove inside there.
Wow.
Yeah. Crazy.
That's so crazy considering that, you know, a lot of people keep them cohabbed year round. Wow, that's
and never not an issue the first 2 times, and I evicted him, so it wasn't an issue the 4th time.
Yeah.
But now I need a new male. So
yeah, and that's kind of a difficult precedent, especially if you want an older male, because I feel like once they get to that adult size where you know where you're getting, then no one wants to let go of their nice looking adult bird snakes. They rather get rid of, you know, the little ones. You have no idea what they're going to look like yet.
That's true. Yeah, there's a couple that have come up that, you know, over the last couple of years, it was like, oh, maybe I could replace just replace my guy altogether.
Yeah,
because had never seen them block. There was never any signs of him giving her any attention.
Yeah.
So it was like, that's kind of funny. And then other people are telling me like, oh no, they're, you know, locking up left and right, you know, multiple times a day. But hey, maybe he just didn't. I mean, he obviously liked her enough to get it done once.
Sure. Yeah, no doubt. I mean, that definitely gets to be like one of the trickiest parts about breeding snakes is like when you're not seeing anything, kind of still understanding that, you know, logically you look at it like, all right, how much of the day am I actually looking at these guys?
Right.
But then you also like get yourself all paranoid, like, well, all these other ones, I see them lock up all the time. So what the fuck's going on here? So yeah. My go-to these days is, all right, which one of these do I need to resex? Because I've had way too many of those where I'm like, oh, this pair is doing nothing. Oh, okay. Well, they're 2 girls. So that's why. So
the nice thing about the bird snakes is the males are keeled.
True.
So
true.
It's like, okay, that's a hard one to mess up.
Yes.
But maybe he's significantly old or something else.
Yeah.
Funny happened to him, but like obviously not. He got it done.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. So
once.
How many babies did you get out of the clutch?
11. All 11 hatched.
That's awesome.
And they're supposed to be generally super picky and really like birds. And 9 out of the 11 already took pinks. They haven't even shed yet.
Wow.
Yeah, just like happy as anything else to eat. Yep.
Wow. And just like
okay, I was feeding the baby rhinos and I fed one and it ate. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna go thaw some more pinkies, and then sure enough, just down the line.
I
don't know. I hope they continue that and doesn't, you know, bite me in the butt.
Yeah, sure.
It's like a one-time thing.
Did you have to did you just leave the pinkies in the tub and just kind of see what happened? Kind of thing?
They ate off tongs, just like right in front of me. Yeah, crazy.
Yeah, that's nuts.
It's like, okay.
The only one that I raised, I had to do the whole like walk it around the room and hold it a certain way and not look at it, that whole rigmarole. So
which is normally how they
are.
Yeah. From what I'm from what I'm told, I've never had babies personally. I've just had the pair of adults.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, that's
Yeah.
definitely, that's jumping right in the deep end if you have 11 babies just off the rip.
Yeah.
So,
But I mean, if they eat like that, it's like whatever, no big deal.
yeah, absolutely.
Just like anything else.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, hey, if it's going your way, then let it roll, you know. Don't complain.
Right.
Awesome. Hell yeah. So yeah, let's talk about these jansenii a little bit, because you know you've been working this project for a whole heck of a long time, and the last time, I think yeah, I think you just had the eggs laid, if I'm remembering correctly.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember what month it was when we did that episode.
I want to say it was like May or June.
Yeah. So they would have been a little bit into incubation by then. They hatched August 10th is when they started. I think they probably took like 5 days total or something like that.
Cool. Yeah, here we got a little
crazy.
Yeah, man. I mean, how did that feel to see those things crawling out of the egg?
I could not stop looking in that box. Like the shade of it's just like not what I expected. Like I thought the color was going to be just like duller overall. And they're like
okay.
Let me see if I can spot a picture of them. I think that's too far back.
Okay.
Yeah, this would have been like the first couple pictures that I posted.
Yeah, they're very vibrant.
Yeah, lots of different blues. Like those bands are like crazy blue in person.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And remind me again, how many days into incubation did they hatch?
149. Yeah, crazy. Forever it feels like.
Oh my gosh. I mean, I has tree monitors out in shorter time than that.
Yeah. Nuts.
Damn. That's pushing, you know, live bear times. Man. Well, I gotta give you a lot of credit for having that kind of patience.
I'm trying to think of like what else goes that long. That's like not a boa.
Yeah,
That's
like an egg-laying snake.
Yeah. There's got to be something else that, because then the question is like, why this snake? Like, why is this thing?
Yeah. Especially considering that their fellow Gonyosoma do not follow that trajectory.
No, they'll go 110, 120 though. Especially, it's like a low and slow thing. But I mean, jansenii will hit 180.
That's insane.
Yeah. Like,
yeah, I mean, it seems very maladaptive if you think about it. Like, the egg is sitting there for that extremely long period of time. Like,
right.
The longer they're there, the more likely they are to get snatched up by something that comes across them.
Yeah.
So,
and if you're in like a well, I guess if you're in like a 2 or 3 season environment, it's probably not that big of a difference.
Yeah, sure.
If you're like in a wet season of 4 months, and then maybe a couple months of a drier season.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't know. Very, very strange. And the eggs are just so ridiculously tough. Again, I'm like, how the heck did you even push that little nose. This is a great picture to look at.
Yeah.
Another thing that I noticed, like no real egg tooth. You know, some things hatch and you see like a very, like you just know it's on there. Like, I mean, that thing's like right out of the egg. And their face is very soft. So it's like, I mean, very surprising that they're able to get out of that egg.
Yeah, that was going to be my next question, because I feel like a lot of the time, like you just said, you know, a particularly tough egg, you'll see that egg tooth right away afterwards. And seeing these, and, you know, having raised up oxycephalum from being very small, is there like a significant size difference? Are these guys much bigger than the oxys as babies?
These are like the size of Malaysian oxys. The Indo oxys are much smaller than Malaysians.
Okay.
But these are like the size of Malaysian babies.
Okay. Do the Malaysians take a little bit longer potentially sometimes, or is it really just kind of a similar? I'm trying to kind of put together what could be the reason.
Right. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I mean, they're like average size.
That's in
arboreal rat snakes.
Yeah.
I think there's a couple pictures in there of those babies outside. I think up. Yeah.
And for anybody who is on the audio version, I would recommend you going over to the video to check these guys out.
Yeah, like go down. Do. Okay, all the way on the left side of the screen. Yeah.
There we go. Okay. So this is a couple months old.
Yes.
Wow, that is rather quick, huh?
Yeah.
To that point.
I had one of these babies that started eating right away, and it's eaten like, I don't know, every 6 days since it hatched, is like huge. Like coming out of a 6-quart tub very soon because it's too big. They grow very, very quick. I'm afraid you are frozen again, Stephen.
All right. Can you hear me now? I'm not sure why this is. Am I back?
I can hear you now.
Oh my God, I'm so sorry, man.
You're all good. I'm chilling.
We're done with the screen sharing. I think that may have been part of it. All right. Well, after that's the problem with live podcasting. Sometimes shit goes wrong and you can't do anything about it. So how quickly did you start to see a little bit of that color change come in with them?
So those guys have just started to show like more and more black is like really the color that they're showing the most of.
Okay.
I think in like 6 months you'll really start to see a change. I have some babies from Daniel, 2 females that are probably 4 months apart in age, something like that. And I can just see the progression. Like one is like totally changing color. And then I can see the other one just like slowly starting to come into it.
All right. Very
and
cool.
then looking at mine, I'm like, okay, I see the trajectory.
Yeah.
And like mine have only like the most, I think maybe one has shed maybe 3 times.
Okay.
Like not including their hatching shed. But I think most are on like their second shed.
Okay. Not bad. So, and from the look of that clip before it went haywire, seems like they're growing pretty quickly, right?
Oh yeah, dude, it is insane how fast that happens.
Is
Even
that sorry, keep going.
I have this one that was lagging behind, and it didn't eat till maybe October 10th or something like that. So it went quite a ways.
Yeah.
And I didn't mess with it. I didn't assist it. I didn't do anything funny with it. And it got like, a little bit skinny. It didn't eat for like 70 days after hatching, something like that. But then it just ate, and it just ate for the third time yesterday.
Wow.
Like, I feel like if stuff has got to be not right with an animal for it just not eat. If everything else is eaten. Like sometimes an animal is just funny. There's just like, it's like not something you're doing. And I think waiting it out, especially with these guys, dude, they are like the craziest, most high-strung snake I have ever experienced. Like you can't hardly even get them back into the tub. Like you got to have like your hands ready when you're misting the tub, because that water hits them and they turn around and they are flying out. Like
interesting.
Just like a very, very high strung, very, very bitey, wants nothing more than to get away.
Yeah.
Like it takes a lot for them to just like calm down and like sit there and like threat display. Like they're like, 5, 6, 7 minutes, the flailing around, until you get to that point. So that's why I don't have like many like outdoor pictures with them or anything, because like they're going to poop as much as they can and flail around. And sometimes I just stand out there, with them in my hand, going haywire for 5 minutes. And I'm like, okay, we're done here.
Yeah, that doesn't sound fun at all.
Back inside. Yeah.
I mean,
little snakes.
That's part of the game when you're dealing with some of these higher strung, thin-bodied colubrids, is when they're small, especially, and they feel really vulnerable. They're not having it. They're doing everything in their power to get away from you.
Yeah, like even the red tails seem like they're much more apt to just like puff their throat and flick their tongue. Like they're a lot easier to get pictures of than the jansenii.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I guess based on your past experience, at what stage do you kind of anticipate that behavior becoming a little bit more subdued?
Like when they reach adults.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, they're I have like one or two, both maybe one jansenii and one red tail that like enjoys coming out, but like most of the time they're like trying to get away.
Yeah.
And if you hold them, and restrict them, probably going to turn around and bite you. But again, it's just all part of how they operate. But once they're comfortable, is they just hang out inside the cage. So if like set the cage up in a way that you can see the animal, it's just like just watch it. You know, I don't generally take stuff out. You know, a whole lot. Let's just take like a picture outside or something.
Sure.
But yeah, the adult animals, captive bred stuff is like totally different ball game attitude wise. Like they're happy to just sit out, but they don't want to be messed with.
Yeah. That makes sense. Some snakes just have their quirks about them. And you kind of have to just learn the animals and not try to make them be something that they're not, because that's when you're going to really run into problems.
Right. They're a display animal. And if the animal is out and you go, you know, and try to get it out and you have to kind of force it out a little bit, you know, once you put it back in the cage, like it might not come out for, you know, 3-4 days.
Yeah.
Because now you just had to pull the thing out of the cage. It's like on edge, you know, the next 10 times it sees you.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, especially when an animal is, you know, not quite as settled into its environment, those little stressors can really set that animal back a good bit. You know, I think people don't realize that to the extent of which that is the truth of, you know, a snake is obviously only really applying to animals that are high strung, on edge, you know, not super happy, but you know, 1 or 2 bad interactions can really set you back a good bit. So something to definitely keep in mind. Question from the chat. Did you get any of the jansenii babies from DM Exotics?
No.
Okay.
I did not. I tried to, and I guess I was not far enough up on that list.
Got it. Okay.
Which is
what's up?
Which is okay. I'm trying to I'm trying to kind of move some stuff out of like the baby juvenile caging and whatnot, and I would definitely add some more babies, but like for the cost of babies, I'd rather deal with the adults, to be honest with you. There's like a lot of people that would disagree with that, but I would rather spend the $500 and deal with the adult than deal with the baby. Because I mean, even a baby that ate for him, you might get, and it might, you know, be not saying getting a baby from anybody.
Right. Yeah.
Underground had babies, and Satu had babies, and you know, I just had one go 70 something days, you know, under what I thought was prime condition, you know, and then it finally ate. And I would rather roll the dice with an adult.
Sure.
Especially it comes in with good body weight. I mean, the things love to eat. Same thing with red tails. Like as long as they're not cold, the animals love to eat. So I would just rather deal with the adult. Oh no.
All right. Happened again. Hey, here we are. All right.
Hey, we're back.
So anyway, the topic of the imported babies. Where were we? Just about, you said a bunch of different people were getting them in recently.
Yeah, and that makes me wonder, like, where and who did those babies come from?
Yeah.
Certainly they did not catch multiple little babies. I find that
right.
They could have collected the eggs, though. You don't know.
Yeah, grabbed a bunch of gravid adults at the right time.
Yeah. It's hard to say, though.
Yeah, it is.
Fascination Herps just hatched a 3-egg clutch this summer. That's another. They imported the adults and bred them.
Okay.
3 babies.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Nice.
Those were 3 that I was heavily looking at, but like again, I have these 5 babies. I have 10 eggs incubating, and I would rather spend my time on an adult.
Sure. I mean, what are these imported babies going for these days? I'm unaware of the state of the market.
Like 400.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So not extreme.
No, but I feel like it's still I feel like it's still more of a gamble than even adult, like those, like the adults, jansenii specifically, like as long as it's not, visibly in bad condition, it's got good body weight, it's got nothing funny going on with its mouth, they eat and generally do fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then I guess is it just a lack of knowledge that people have of not knowing that those adults are just as good, or what's the deal?
It's been like an availability thing for the most part, because
Okay.
even when I was looking, this was 5 years ago, when I was looking for my first ones, there was one animal that I thought that I was going to get, and like somebody else ended up being ahead of me, and that's when I was like, actively looking, so I like missed out on the first one.
Yeah.
And then there was like a trio that popped up on Morph Market, that I later found out that Daniel was the one that beat me to them.
Okay.
And I was like lucky that I didn't get those, because none of them ended up doing good. I think the whole trio died.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, so that would not have been great for my first experience.
Yeah.
And then Snakes at Sunset had posted a little female, and that was the first one that I bought. That was like early 2021, I think.
Okay.
Something like that. Yeah. And then it was probably like a year until I saw another one that I thought was worth buying.
Wow.
Yeah, there's like recently been a small surge, which is kind of how it goes, and then it'll be like, oh, there's nothing, and then they'll pop up again.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, like the quota opens for that brief period that gets filled, and then it's just like, all right, nope.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I guess it's a good time for captive breeding to start kind of picking up the little bit that it is.
Right. And I think I wonder like how many people have actually, like really, really dedicated what they're doing to like, okay, I'm going to try to produce this species, rather than like, oh, I've got the 2 in the tank together, and I'm like, breeding other things, and they're just kind of there. Like,
yeah, I mean, at least the way that I see it, and I'm not as tapped into that part of the community, but I don't see anybody really pushing them more than you are.
Yeah.
So, it definitely is. It's really awesome to see that. Since you have been more public about, your involvement with the project and, making people aware of the species, have you seen an increase in the demand, or, at least on your end?
Yeah, I mean, people definitely messaged me and said that they picked up those babies from Dan, so they were ahead of that ahead of me on that list. And
Yeah.
I think there was maybe a couple babies that were left, but I still had at that time I hadn't even had this fifth baby eating, and I was like, I'm not going to buy another, drop $480 shipped,
Right.
on another baby.
Yeah. I definitely get that.
Yeah.
So I guess at this point, what is your plan as far as the overall project goes, as far as numbers and holding back animals? How many adults do you have right now as your like foundation group?
I have 2 adult males and 5 females.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which I'm trying out the trios right now, so I'll see how that goes. So far they seem to be fine together.
Cool.
No issues.
Okay.
And just recently I added that original female that I got from Snakes at Sunset in with the original proven pair to make it a trio. And she was in there for like 6 weeks, and evidently she was already gravid. She was already cycling, infertils, and nested down into the nest box and laid the eggs. And yeah, so that was cool to see that she, found the same box the original one laid in. And yeah,
that's really cool. Huh. Nice.
And she's like one of the most curious snakes that I have. So she's like all over this big. She was in a 422, and she's in the 623 now.
Okay.
So she's just in there, cruising around, happy as can be.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Which is like the one exception of the jansenii. The rest of them are much more happy to be looked at than messed with.
Okay. Hey, at least you have one, that's like, having a project where you have at least one animal you can interact with and is nice and chill. That's always a nice added bonus.
Yeah, I mean it's no worse than having any other animal with a bad attitude.
Sure. Yeah.
I just don't mess with them.
Yeah, absolutely.
And like I said, the less you mess with them, like the more they hang out, the more they, are on display.
Yeah, absolutely.
Generally.
Yeah, that's especially with an animal like that. That's really the priority at the end of the day is, being able to have that like kind of living art piece of that enclosure with the animals in it, rather than having an interactive animal, at least to me.
Right. And I'm trying to figure out this grow out housing situation.
Okay.
So I plan to keep all 5 of these babies amongst, growing out other stuff. And I think they're going to do better if they're in an enclosure, like as soon as possible, from like a social aspect, from a, comfort level with having people in the room and not just, taken off. I think exposing those animals to, me being in the room all the time. Like, okay, he's not gonna mess with us every 5 seconds. As soon as I can, get him in a cage, I think the better. So trying to figure out what that looks like. I think these 2-foot cubes behind me are probably a bit too big right now.
Okay.
So I'm looking for something like 12, 12, 18. Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. So
Yeah,
that
like,
then what did you get? What did you originally start them off in? Was it those or something smaller?
no, they're in 6-quart tubs right now.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah,
You must have got disconnected. I got a little confused.
you're good. Yeah, I'm looking for something that's, like a decent size system of cages, and I'm trying to figure out like what cage and like the one of the big decision making points is I really want to put like T5 lighting, not necessarily UV, but T5 lighting over the top. So that kind of takes out a lot of the like PVC condos. Not a whole lot of them have screen tops. Like some of those Tomorrow Design condos are pretty nice. Pretty pricey too. So I'm looking at something like maybe like a 12, 18 Repti Zoo or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, those smaller cage sizes, especially if you're not wanting to go like with an Exoterra or something like that, that's a difficult precedent to try to track someone like that down, especially for a reasonable amount.
Yeah, and like those condos to be able to put any lighting. Like I was trying to think of like how you would do it if you had like some sort of like divider that was like perfectly cut, to fit around that light.
Yeah.
But I don't know how else you would run like a light bar over the top of most of those condos.
Yeah.
I don't know. But I think I'm going to do something like the 12, 12, 18 Exoterras is like the next step coming out of these, or not Exoterras, Repti Zoo.
Okay.
Yeah. That brand has like figured out the screen lid, and it is like perfect. Like every other glass cage brand should like copy this design because it's like so durable, super, super strong. Yeah, great cages.
Okay. Yeah, that's very cool. Yeah, sometimes with some of the screen tops, like you put too much weight on there, and you look at that thing like, oh, I don't know, that seems a little sketchy to me. Like that might just go right through.
And then trying to fix them is also a nightmare. So then what I started doing is I would just buy the cages, and I would just like glue just like the top of the brand new cage, just glue the screen. Glue that seal down. And it's like, okay, why am I even doing this? And then those little Exoterras have the gap around the door.
Yeah.
And I was like so sick of, like, I used to have the baby carpets in those cages. And they were always doing something dumb around those doors. And the Repti Zoos are on like a round hinge. So
Okay.
There's no gap there at all.
Yeah, that's super nice.
Yeah.
Extremely nice. Okay. I'll have to check those out. I've seen the bigger cages, like the 4x2s. I don't think I've ever seen any of the little ones. So
yeah,
look at that.
Yeah, great little cages. Like prices are exactly the same for those little ones as Exoterra, Zillow, whoever else is making them.
Cool. Okay. Awesome. So kind of to go back to these jansenii.
Yes.
As you kind of continue to produce them, hatch more out, do you have a number in mind of this is how many holdbacks you want to keep, or how many of like in each generation you want to have kind of raising up? It's the hard part.
Yeah. I'm trying to get all of all of Daniel's lines because I figure why not? If he knows all the history and everything on them, I might as well get them and add them into what I'm doing. And I think he has probably 2 more pairs that would be unrelated to what I have now. And kind of my my plan is just to kind of like just keep getting wild caught stuff, like as long as it's available.
Sure.
Like not go too long, like not add every season. But if it's like, okay, it's been 2 seasons, I would rather pass on, even if it was like, okay, move on a good male.
Yeah.
And add on the new blood as long as it's available. I don't know. I don't like getting rid of snakes, and I like big groups of snakes. So we'll see how crazy it goes. The babies ended up being 3.2.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not bad.
No.
Not bad.
Okay.
At all. Okay. So what
Could be worse.
What's your plan with them?
They're all staying here unless they're all gonna stay here. If like all 3 of the males ended up being like exactly the same or something like that, maybe I would move one on.
Okay.
But I don't think that's what's gonna happen. I think it's really like 5 different animals.
Nice.
I think.
Perfect.
Yeah. I think that's what's gonna happen.
Okay.
Yeah. And then this other clutch that I have incubating is completely unrelated to mine. So again, depending on sex, we'll see what happens there. Definitely after the females there more than the males. I would keep one male from that. Because it's unrelated and it's F1.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would definitely be after that, after those females. I would not be mad about 5 females either. That would also be good.
Yeah, no question. Yeah, that's all right. That's awesome that's an unrelated pairing going on for the next one. That's that's like the perfect foundation right there. Like unrelated F1 lineages that you hatched out. Can't ask for a whole lot more than that.
Yeah. And these 2 females I got from Daniel. It's the same male to 2 different females, and they're also both F1s.
Okay. Very cool. Yeah, so just really laying that groundwork with the F1s then. That's
trying to.
That's awesome. Okay. Very cool. Very cool. Man, totally. I had my question ready to go, and now I'm in that blanking mode. I don't do this all that often. Shit. All right. Well, I guess in the meantime, from the comments, Amy recommended another brand, EcoFlex. Have you heard of these enclosures?
I have. Yeah.
Okay. What are your thoughts on them? Have you used them at all?
I have not. I've heard of the brand. I have seen one in person, but I have not seen their different sizes and things of that nature.
Okay.
Nice.
All right. Hell yeah. Well, It's a little early, but I think right now might be a good moment to head to our commercial break real quick.
Sweet.
And we'll be back in a few minutes. So stick around, everybody. We'll be back in a few minutes.
Sorry for the interruption, folks, but a quick word from our sponsors. Green tree pythons, emerald tree boas, and plenty other arboreal snakes have been quite the popularity here at the Trap Talk Reptile Network, which brings me to today's sponsor, the Reptile Perch. Head over to the reptileperch.com and Reptile Perch on Instagram. See what type of design PVC perch is best for your arboreal reptile. But first and foremost, I would also check out David Brom's Green Tree Python availability on the website. And you can also check out his Instagram just to stay current on any projects or any productions that he posts. Thank you so much, David Broms, for your ongoing support. Looking forward to seeing what you have to show in the 2025 season. When you think about building a good community and being a leader of that community, nobody comes to mind better than Mark Hager over at Texas Chondros. That's right. Make sure you head over to TX Chondros on Instagram and also head over to Mark's website. See what he has available Green Tree Python wise and be ready for quite the 2025 Green Tree Python breeding season out of Mark Hager. He's a veteran in the Green Tree Python game, one of the best and nicest breeders in the Green Tree Python game. He's been putting on the whole state of Texas for as long as I've known him. So if you want to see all the amazing other chondro keepers out of the state of Texas, another good reason to go follow Mark Hager over at TX Chondros on Instagram. And again, head over to his website, texaschondros.com. You can find all the links in the description below. Thank you so much, Mark Hager, for supporting the trap. Treat. One of the biggest growths we have.
Let's go.
One of the biggest growths we have in the reptile industry today are the rare species of reptiles that aren't worked with. That's right. That's why I went ahead and partnered up again with Brian Susan over at SUNDOWN Reptiles. Brian works with species such as kahua geckos, gargoyle geckos, all species of tree monitors. He works with Abronia and many other cool species geckos that you can check out all on his website. Head over to sundownreptiles.com, see what he has available. Brian's one of the best doing it in the reptile industry today. He's been on the show multiple times, so make sure you check out all of Brian Susan's episodes on Trap Talk Reptile Network. But more importantly, for the highest quality of captive bred reptiles, make sure you head over to sundownreptiles.com and make sure you give him a follow on Instagram. Thank you again, Brian Susan over at Sundown Reptiles. One of the things I love about being a part of the reptile industry is all the learning, okay? Learning can be fun, and I can prove that to you. Thank you so much to today's sponsor, it's Gary Scavino over at gs.reptiles. I highly recommend you head over to his YouTube channel, follow all this man's content when it comes to learning about rare species of snakes you could be keeping in the hobby, and also just finding out how easy a lot of these rare species of snakes are to keep in general. So thank you so much, Gary Scavino of GS Reptiles. Again, head over to his YouTube channel. Also head over to his Instagram to be on top of all of his current work and be ready for a big year over at GS Reptiles. Thank you so much, Gary, for your ongoing support. I really appreciate it. Cheers.
Alrighty, here we are. Thank you, everyone, for your patience. So I remember what I was going to ask you. So I guess, within both jansenii and then the other Gonyosoma, but I would assume that this would apply to other Gonyosoma more. What's the furthest into the generations you've heard of anybody producing? Like, are there F5 oxycephalum out there? Like, how deep has it gone so far?
I think probably F3.
Okay.
Yeah, I think probably F3. There's a couple people that have been at it for years, but I feel like it's one of those snakes, especially if you're breeding like green oxys. It's like holding back a green oxy to raise it up to have another green oxy. It's like, only people that are like you and I are gonna do that. It's
right.
Like, I don't know.
Yeah, no, I get that. I guess so. My point there is to kind of, and I guess maybe as of now the answer is kind of unknown, but you're establishing diverse lineages from the start. Are there any comparable examples potentially of projects that have gotten multiple generations in where like effects of inbreeding depression have started to become kind of apparent? Because it really does seem to be with snakes across the board. It's like some are hit hard quick. Right. Some will never show it. I mean, you work with Australian pythons. That's like the prime example. Not that there's no effect ever, but man, for what we're working with now and for where it came from, these snakes are pretty damn robust.
Right. Yeah, I don't think there's too much issue, even if we weren't able to get anything else. If we kept a lot of what we have alive, we would probably be okay before we saw. I don't think we would see anything funny, especially if they're hard enough to breed. It's not like we're just pumping them out.
Yeah,
it's like if you want to breed that brother to the sister, you're gonna work for it. Like,
yeah, that is true. I mean,
work for it in a better way.
Yeah, is it typically like 4 or 5 years for maturity in these guys?
I think even quicker than that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think quicker than that, which I'm kind of playing around with.
Okay.
Like how fast they'll grow, for one.
Yeah.
I think this original female that I got, I was pretty conservative when it came to feeding her. And now I'm feeding some of these babies a little bit heavier, and I'm like, oh wow, you'll really eat and you'll really grow. And I'm sure that's what they do.
Yeah.
Small snakes don't survive being small long.
Right. Yeah. So what is your approach to feeding right now? How frequently are you giving them meals? And, relatively speaking, how large are these meals?
Like, I'm feeding them like every 5 days.
Okay.
And they're still eating like fuzzy to hopper mice. Just depending on the snake. A couple of them are a little bit smaller. They're also like 6 or 7 meals behind. So
okay.
Yeah.
And were they starting on fuzzies, or were they more like on like large? Okay, they're big enough to start
on fuzzies. Yeah.
Okay.
They they didn't they all started on live, and anything smaller didn't move enough at all.
Got it.
Yeah, and there's like some of those fuzzies where like you poke them and they've really got some movement to them. They're really crawling around and whatnot.
Yeah.
And those jansenii are crazy in that tub. Like it's honestly terrible, because they'll like grab this little baby and like toss it across the other side of the tub. But it's got to keep moving, or they're not gonna have any interest in it at all.
Okay.
Yeah. No frozen thawed for any of these guys. There was no scenting or anything. I tried, but this one that took forever to eat. But then in the end, it just ate live, like all the others.
Yeah. Okay. Do you still have them on live, or did you transition them over to frozen at a certain point?
Like half of them are eating frozen thawed right now.
Okay.
But they don't. Yeah, you can't tease feed them. They're so high strung. Like the second you wave something in front of their face, like they're gone.
Sure.
So it's like leave it in front of their hide, or on top of their hide or something of that nature, and check it later.
Yeah. Okay.
Once they're eating, it's like a put the mouse in front of the hide, and it's gone before you even got to the entrance. They just swipe it right away.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that was my next question about whether or not you were really able to tease feed them. I guess the only thing I can draw a similar kind of situation to would be with baby spilotes, but they don't seem to be nearly as high strung as you're describing these guys, to where like they'll freak out a little bit, but as soon as you kind of get their attention, like if they can, like they key in on the mouse for a second, then they'll kind of stop and then kind of figure out what they want to do from there. But like you, I started them on live, so I didn't really mess with that. It's kind of like threw the fuzzy near them and just kind of like, all right, I'll see you in a little bit. Please do it.
Yep.
So, and I've been lucky. They've been generally pretty easy to start across the board. So definitely, which is nice because that is not the case with a lot of colubrids. So, I mean, you've experienced that probably with some of the rhino rats, I would have to assume, right?
No, the rhino the rhino rats. I used no fish at all.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Every one of those snakes ate frozen thawed from tongs.
Damn. All right.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Every single one of them, which is like, yeah, crazy.
Yeah.
Insane.
Not living up to their reputation.
No. And like, some of them would drop it 20 times.
Yeah.
But like, there's only so many times that they spit it, and the next time they drop it 10 times, and the next time they drop it 8 times, and the next time they drop it 4 times. Like,
yeah.
I mean, those babies, I think they hatched the end of August, and I just sent one home last week, and yeah, eating pinkies off tongs.
Wow.
Yeah.
Perfect.
I'm sure I'll have some that are a total nightmare, but these were not it.
You just have that magic touch. The postal notice. You're like, no, they just all ate. The rhino rats, like, no, they just all ate for me normally. Everyone's trying to like punch you through the screen right now. They're like, oh, cool, you're having all the good luck.
No, I have a little mandarin rat that will not eat. I'm about to brumate it. I think which I'm trying to decide. I'm either going to put a rat tail down its throat, which means I need to wait.
Yeah.
To brumate it because I don't want to put food in it. So it's like, man, do I make you wait until it gets cold enough, which hopefully is just a couple more weeks.
Yeah.
Just let you ride it out. I mean, I have tried every single, and this is like a long time going now. It's like a little baby.
Okay.
Yeah. Will not eat.
Damn. Is that any frequency with mandarins? I've never kept them before, even though I've always really liked them.
Yeah, I mean, plenty of people tell me that they just eat. I'm like, not this one. Not this one.
Yeah, no, I feel like there's always one. Like, I guess this year from last year, I had a baby scrub python that went almost, I think actually was 14 months before it took its first meal on its own.
Yeah, it's insane.
And I obviously I had force fed that animal a number of times to be able to, that thing wasn't going to make it that long. But I hit this like the stop on that a couple months prior. I'm like, all right, this is getting ridiculous. Like,
right.
I'm not going to baby this thing anymore. And then all of a sudden just like ate a live fuzzy out of nowhere. I'm like, where were you for the last year of your life?
Yeah. How is that?
And like it's doing great. Like it eats every time. It's like growing. I'm like, what happened? What's the problem here? It's like, it really is like some switch just flips in their mind. And like with some of them, it takes a few days. And then it's apparently every now and then it takes like a year.
Yeah. A little dehydration and the threat of death. And they're like, oh, maybe I should eat.
Like, oh, maybe life would be a good choice.
Yeah.
Because I mean, kind of like you were saying earlier, you think about all of the different potential reasons why this could be, and I can't say I've ever like had a baby that's not eating, and have been like, oh, it's this is the reason why it's not eating. It's never that. It's always just like, I don't know. It just isn't there yet. Something's not clicking yet.
Yeah, I've yet to have a baby that I hatched or that I purchased that just wouldn't eat and died. I haven't had that happen. I've had things that have gone for a long time and then ate and then died because I think it had been too long.
Yeah, I think I've had that happen a couple of times too.
Yeah, but I've never had anything that just like never ate and withered away.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's probably the same for me. I've had some that were born like deformed that did that, but
Sure.
like a regular, perfect, healthy, normal, nothing seems outwardly wrong with it. Yeah, I can't say I've had that happen to me either.
And all I was thinking with those jansenii, it's like, man, again, they're just so high strung. And I was like, first of all, what is like the odds that this pinky actually stays in this thing's mouth? Like, it's just flailing everywhere.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, I don't want to hurt the thing in the, process.
Yeah.
So just let it be.
Yeah. 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 And I think that's kind of the thing with a lot of these type of species. Like if you don't have live to try to get them started, you're fighting an uphill battle for yourself. Like that's difficult.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I know a lot of people are kind of averse to doing it, but I mean, maintaining a tub or two of mice for the sake of having some pinkies or fuzzies at your disposal, it's like, it's so worth what you need to do to be able to have that there for you as a
100%.
as a resource.
100%. Yeah. Like this is, it's not something that you can tease. Like it will not happen. That snake is never going to take frozen thawed off of your tongues.
Yeah.
It's the type of snake that if it's coiled around a mouse that it just killed and you peek your head in there, it does the quick spin and spits that thing out, and it's up there in the front of the tub, ready to bite you. Like it's just not that type of snake. And there's, even feeding these guys like hopper mice, they hit hard enough and quick enough. Like there's no messing around. I'm not concerned about those snakes getting bit. Like they're plenty strong for their size and capable, and they take those things right out.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good. I always have that kind of paranoia about mice that are getting like anywhere above that hopper size.
Mm-hmm.
I can't say I've ever had a rodent injure a snake, but you hear about it and you see pictures of it and you're like, oh my God, like I worked so hard for these perfect little baby jansenii or spilotes or whatever it may be. And you're like, if this mouse bit me, it would hurt.
Right.
So if it bit this snake, that would probably be a problem. I don't know. Like I'm like, man, by the time you're eating a small mouse, I hope to God you're on frozen thaw or pre-killed at least. Like I can do something different for you.
Yeah. I try not to feed anything munching, anything capable of giving a snake a good bite.
Yeah.
But man, those hopper mice, that movement is like irresistible.
Yeah.
Like the way they pop off the ground, like these snakes cannot resist it.
No, they cannot. Yeah. I thinking about it right now, actually, I have a pair of Pitiophis vertebralis that I acquired them as like small adult size, and they kind of like gave me consistent kind of issues here and there throughout quarantine. And I feed them live. Like the female, I give her like jumbo mice, and the male like a wean rat size soft fur. For some reason, that's his prey item of choice, is a live African soft fur rat, this Mexican colubrid. And I get concerned, but I'm like, man, it's either this or nothing for you guys. I don't know what like that live. They're just like all about it, and then as soon as that thing is dead, they're like, I don't even know what that is. So, which is weird because I don't think I've ever had a colubrid be picky about live above a baby. Like,
yeah, that's crazy. Those those soft fur bites are like nothing else. Have you ever got bit?
No, I don't think I've ever been bitten by a soft fur.
It is horrendous.
Okay.
It's like getting bit by a gerbil.
Okay,
Like
yeah, I've been bitten by a gerbil. Yeah.
Man, they chomp.
Yeah.
Compared to rats that like never bite.
Right. Boy, I got super lucky. The strain of softers that I have, like you go in there and like you scratch them on the nose, like they're super chill. But the softers I've worked with in the past were not quite so super chill. And
oh no,
it was a kind of like dodging them, trying to get their tail moving real quick. So
yeah. Only the tails.
don't let them double back on you. They're rough. Yeah, I love them though. They're such a great feeder for somebody to breed who I'm permitting you can state, where you can raise small rat feeders or even close to a medium, but not have to go through the full undertaking of a rat colony.
That's true. Yeah.
If you don't have a building or a garage or whatever to do your rats in, you're just not doing them. Unless you're a disgusting person. No judgment if you have a big rat breeding facility in your living room. I have to imagine that would not be great.
Yeah.
So softers, there's such a great middle ground for that because you can kind of keep them like mice and raise them up far bigger than you can a mouse. So
that's true. Yeah.
They're a good feeder. Because I'm at the point now, look, where like I don't have to buy anything smaller than a medium rat. And I even raise up some softers to that size. I've experimented with it, but it takes a long, like from 50 to 80 grams. That takes a long time. And like you can't do that with a female. It has to be males. It takes a while.
It's a slow process.
Yes.
Slow growing creature.
So like I was kind of I had turned over my software colonies and had a bit of a lull in production. And I was like, all right, whatever. I have some extra males. Let's do some experiments, see what I can do here. And my end result was probably not worth it.
Really?
They'll like the and if you're buying medium rats, like obviously these days feeders, almost every company, they're hugging the bottom of that weight range as tightly as they can. And I think I've gotten a couple softers up to 90 grams, which is that's a small medium rat.
Yeah.
I think most people start their medium rats at 85 grams. And that from like this time, it was like 40 grams, that softer to 90 was like 2 months.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, no, that's not worth it whatsoever.
Yeah, and by the time you powdered 28 pounds of food while I try to keep you alive to this size.
Yeah.
Gosh.
Yeah. So I guess it's good. I'm glad that I like did the experiment. So now I know, but yeah, definitely like small rat size and down, you're golden. You're doing great. Try to get beyond that. You're probably not, it's probably not too cost and time effective for you. So,
right. As far as the, just doing a little, mouse colony for yourself, it's not a very like smelly animal.
No,
like especially if you're if you set it up correctly and attend to it often.
Yeah.
Like you probably can't leave it for a full week.
Yeah.
But like you treat it like, you treat it like any other small animal that you have, whether it be a rat or a mouse or a guinea pig or whatever the things might be. We're doing, quite a bit of mice now up at work. And when you get some of those tubs, I don't know what the size is off the top of my head, but it's probably like 6 or 10 quart equivalent. And there's like 4 to 5 females and 1 male in there.
Like the Freedom Breeder 10 series.
Yeah, yeah. It's like their maternity rat rack.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, like 4 to 5 females and 1 male. And like out of that group, I mean, you can easily pull like 50 pinkies when they're all giving birth at one time.
Yeah.
And there's plenty of times you'll pull that many, fuzzies out of, that have made it through that far.
Yeah.
Obviously have to happen when you need it.
Right.
Maybe you have a couple of them.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I've always thought like my thought was like, well, if they were getting too big and I didn't want to deal with raising them to small mice, if I was like just after stuff to feed babies, then I would just cull them. If I didn't need them, I would just let them get to like fuzzies, and I would just cull the whole group.
Yeah.
And then just take care of my 5-6 mice until they come around the next time, and maybe I need those as live feeders.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've been trying to figure out the rat situation for myself, because I run the rat room, and I'm like, my goodness, I have got to figure out where to do it myself.
Yeah.
Because like once you know how to do it, it's like, okay, this takes no time for what I need to accomplish here.
Yeah.
Comparatively, for
Right.
what I'm spending on frozen rodents.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like especially once you get your dip your toe in, because I remember before I was doing rodents, like I would see a video of an operation or something like that, and just like it's so overwhelming to think about it, and then being like, oh, why are these tubs different from these tubs and different from these tubs? Like, what the hell is going on here? And I feel like, and I could just not be looking in the right places, but I feel like there aren't many people that are like, this is my one rat rack that I have that I use to feed my collection. Here's how I do it.
Right.
It's like, here's a giant facility, or people when they go to like visit Justin, going to like Mice Direct, and it's just like giant warehouses full of tons of racks, and it's like, oh my god, it's scary. It's like, if that's like the idea of what it is, then that's going to scare people away pretty quickly, because it's very daunting undertaking. I mean, even the size of the room that you guys are running, like that's no small operation.
No, it'll do probably like max capacity. It'll probably do like I don't know, like 15 or 18,000 rats a month.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Something like that.
Damn. And you guys are just using all of those to feed the collection?
Yeah, we try to do 1 rat a week per snake.
Okay.
Is the production goal out of the rat room.
Okay. Yeah, that's I feel like, especially running an operation like that, there's very little room for like, oh, I don't know, we kind of feed when the snakes are hungry. It's like, good luck.
It's like clockwork.
Yeah. Yeah.
But man, like those mice are just so worth doing. Like if you have like anything that needs like a live feeder, like I would totally do like a 10-gallon fish tank, and just do it like super, super simple, feeding out of some little glass dishes and water and whatnot.
Yeah. Yeah. And the other thing that people don't really think about that often, and I don't know how much of an impact it really makes, but the freezing process, freezing the rodents, it degrades the nutritional value of the animal.
Right.
And especially for like if anyone like freezes in like dry ice, you're taking that thing to an extreme low temperature. A lot of the vitamins, the good gut flora that you're getting from those animals, like it's being pretty much neutralized in that process. So even if you want to look at it from like a health standpoint for the animals, the best case scenario is probably to do like a fresh killed kind of deal and have, everything just fresh, ready to go, maximally healthy rodent.
I'm all about the fresh kill. I think it's such a great way to go.
Yeah, absolutely. Question in the chat here from Scott, if it will pull up. My screen is being laggy, so I'll just say it. He's just asking how many herps you're currently keeping.
I think without babies, probably like 100 right now.
Okay.
Probably like 80, 90 babies, something like that.
Okay. I mean, that's quite a few snakes, especially on top of having your full-time job being within the industry. I mean, how is...
Oh no. We've lost him again.
All right, I'm sorry to think this is StreamYard and not my Wi-Fi. For some reason, every time I try to mess with something on here, it screws us up.
No.
I'm gonna stop clicking on stuff. So yeah, so like what is it like for you having to balance like both aspects of your life being very similar, animals at work, animals at home?
I mean, I don't do it because I don't like it.
True.
True. Like I'm doing it because it's all I want to be doing.
Yeah. Hey, fair enough. But do you ever have any like, do you ever get home at the end of the day and be like, oh man, I got to clean freaking 100 snakes tonight? Perfect.
Never.
Perfect. Hey,
no.
Great.
No. If anything, it's more exciting to get home because this is all the stuff that I like the most.
That is true. I mean, it's very different. It's not like you're, breeding ball pythons during the day and then coming home and breeding ball pythons at night.
Right.
It's a very much a break in the action. Scott, I'd pull up your comment if my system was working, but the 15K rats a month, that is for the Canova facility, not Chaz's personal collection. That would be obsessive.
Yes, that would be crazy.
So yeah, definitely a good thing to clarify there. You're not producing 15,000 rats a month for your personal use for your 180 snakes.
No. That would be crazy.
Yeah, that would be. I mean, making a lot of money selling the excess rats, that'd be for sure. So, but yeah, I kind of wanted to bring this up. It might be a good time, given that you're somebody who has their toe in kind of multiple aspects of the reptile world. What's your kind of take on the current state of the market? Obviously, ball pythons are kind of the engine that is driving all of this, and then we have all of our little like offshoots that are, beyond that. What's your kind of take on the situation right now, where we're at in the market?
I think that the market from where I'm sitting has been pretty good.
Yeah.
And I watched about I don't know, I don't want to exaggerate, 11 boxes or something leave Canova today. So like we ship, literally every single Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, as long as it's not, blazing hot or freezing cold or a holiday.
Yeah.
Like, so this is, this was a regular Wednesday.
Yeah.
Like, the people that are complaining about, not selling anything is because they have the same stuff as everybody else. Like
Yeah.
that's the reality. It's like when you have the same thing as everybody else, there's less demand for it.
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah.
Was that part of your thought process with really doubling down on the jansenii, seeing kind of a void in the market for a species like that, or was that a part of your thinking?
I just really like them, and and all I was originally thinking was, how can I find a couple to buy?
Yeah,
That's all it was really. All I was really thinking.
yeah, fair enough. I mean, with what you're doing in work, are you seeing like still a good influx of new keepers into the hobby these days?
Yeah, I mean, we like from the ball python side of stuff. There's new people coming in all the time, and
That's good.
I mean, it's people that are ready to get educated and have money to spend. So it's not like, nobody in the reptile community has money to spend. It's like they're just not going to spend it on, the same stuff that everybody else has. Like, people
sure.
looking for stuff that's unique, and worth the investment.
Yeah, definitely. And I feel like ultimately too, these days it's, you're not just buying the animal, you're buying the brand too. I think like the days of being able to present an animal and having it sell itself on its own merit, for better or worse, are probably gone.
Right.
Like you need to be able to have, the person who's buying the animal should not only want the animal, they should want to buy it from you specifically as well.
Mm-hmm.
That needs to be a part of the buying process these days, in my opinion.
No, I totally agree with you. And I mean, I get people, that are interested in red-tailed green rats and jansenii that are like, oh, I've only kept, a snake here, or I kept a lizard here, or it's been a really long time. And it's like, okay, this is like totally achievable for you. If this is the animal that you really like, it's not that hard. The basics of this care, if you're an intelligent person and you can, follow along with what I'm telling you to do care wise, like, totally reasonable for you to keep one. But you're going to have to pay for it, right? This is not the $125 import, but you avoid all the problems and everything like that. So, I have people that are like, okay, tell me when the jansenii are ready. And these are like, again, sometimes new keepers or people that are just like, oh, I've kept a red-tail boa, or I've kept a corn snake, and I came across this snake and think it's beautiful and would love to have one. And it's like, okay, it's not, not all that difficult, especially the captive ones. So I don't know. These red-tailed green rats have been flying. So
nice.
Yeah. But then again, like the blue beauty rats, a lot of blue beauties on the market right now. Like probably one every single page in the rat snake section on Morph Market. So it's like snake is a lot cheaper, and I'm sitting on a couple of them. So were a lot of other people. So it just depends on what you have. If all I had was blue beauties, I probably think the market was slow too.
Sure. Yeah. No, that's definitely a good point. I mean, anyone can get really caught up into like that kind of confirmation bias of your experience is your experience, but you're, this little dot within this giant ecosystem of the industry.
Right.
And like you said, if you're a blue beauty breeder, okay, that's one experience. And if you're selling red-tailed green rats, then you're probably having a night and day different. You know, I have a lot of friends who breed green tree pythons, and like they never have an issue these days. I mean, green tree python is probably the hottest reptile on the market right now.
Yeah, I was just talking about this. Like, if you figured out a way to produce like an outrageous amount of green trees, like it may not be enough.
Yeah.
Like if you could put out solely 1,000 a year, like it may not be enough. It would be for a little bit, but they would go.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's crazy. But then, you know, you also get into that point of like, with anything like that, you always worry about people chasing that for the wrong reason, you know,
Right.
seeing the trend and going after the trend instead of actually being truly passionate about what they're doing. And because that's what ultimately creates the crash at the end of the day, are all of those people, you know, the people who are really doing it because they love it, they suffer the consequences for the people who are trying to make the next quick buck with a new hot species. So,
Right.
you know, it's always a delicate one of how hard do you want to push it for the potential downside versus like, hey, these animals are so awesome and I want as many people to know about them as possible. It's always kind of like that struggle of like, all right, how far do you really take it?
Right. I think like over the next, I don't know, say 20 years, we're just going to continue to see people like they'll have whatever their core collection of crested geckos or ball pythons or whatever it is, but then they'll have, you know, these other side projects of, you know, significant quantity,
Yeah.
you know, of something that takes a little bit more, you know, a little bit more thinking, a little bit more energy to get those things to reproduce.
Yeah.
It's like, those are the things that sell really well. They are.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I always try to encourage people who do work primarily with, you know, one of the pet type of species, be it balls, corns, crested geckos, whatever it may be, like even get one pair of something that's kind of off the wall. Like break up that monotony just a little bit, because you know, it's gonna open your eyes so much more to like what herpetoculture entails. And I would only imagine that it would make keeping your bread and butter even more fun, because it's not what you're doing every second of every day you're working with your animals.
Right.
You know, throw something a little different in the mix to just, you know, broaden that horizon, take the blinders off a little bit. You know, I don't think anybody would regret it.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I just found out that Justin had some short-tailed pythons, I believe it was, like just before I started working there.
Okay.
Okay. It's cool. So I think like finding something that like, you know, works into your situation, you know,
Yeah.
doesn't have to be something like totally off the wall. If you're keeping desert lizards, find some weird desert lizard, you know,
Yeah.
that costs, you know, $20 off an import list.
Yeah.
You know, and figure that animal out.
Yeah. Absolutely.
You know, and your customers that have bought your bearded dragons, you know, maybe those people that have bought, you know, a couple of them, those are the people that you push these other babies to, you know, first. Hey, you want to try something else really cool?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Especially like for anyone who has developed a really good, you know, whether you want to call it a clientele or a fan base, whatever it may be, you know,
Mm-hmm.
those people are going to, you know, at least pay attention to what you're doing.
Yeah.
So if you have something new to show, you know, that's like that for the first wave. And then they kind of like, hey, look at all this cool new stuff. Come check it out. And, you know, that kind of interest can really spread like wildfire with the right kind of project.
And I just think like having different types of projects, it's like just doing the same thing. It's like you're just in the same mindset like constantly. Like there's no change of pace in between.
Yeah.
Okay, I do this task 200 times.
Yeah.
It never changes. Like,
Yeah, 100%.
that's why I like keeping some lizards too. It's like a totally different discipline,
Yeah.
totally different side of it.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, that's one of my favorite parts about doing this podcast is like I don't limit myself to a particular theme or whatever. And I've, gotten advice from people who work with entirely different types of animals than I do that like have taken applied to what I do. And I'm like, I never even considered this until I heard this person talk about it in terms of some weird lizard species or turtles or whatever it may be. You know, that I feel like that's where a lot of the real advantage. You get it?
Yeah.
Damn. All right. Hey, this is Chaz's technical difficulties. It was me earlier. You get this one. This one's on me.
Man,
You back?
I am. I almost didn't make it through that one.
Yeah, I was like, all right, I hope you're all right.
Jeez.
But yeah, I mean, you can really glean some very useful information from people working with animals that have nothing to do with what you're working with. Even just the mindset, the way someone looks at something, it's like opens your eyes like, wow, I never even considered that until I heard the way that you treat your water monitors or your whatever, you can apply it to snakes or even like rodents. You can take some of the ways that people work with their rodent colonies and apply it to your reptiles and be like, wow, I never even considered that aspect of it. So
I like man, I like listening to the is the Chameleon Keeper?
Mhm.
No, the Chameleon Academy podcast.
I've heard that before.
Yeah, lots of great points in there, just like how to approach keeping, how to think about keeping, how to think about hydration, because it's such a big thing with chameleons. Just something that I don't do or plan to do at all. Just gets you thinking.
Yeah. No question. And I think that's how the hobby moves forward. That's how husbandry progresses. How just that free flow of information and ideas. Like you really can't get it any other way.
Right, and it's like it's easy to like get into this mindset, like if you're making mistakes, like you're doing something wrong, but only if you keep making the same mistake. So like trying new things and having it go totally wrong is not, doesn't make you a bad keeper or doesn't mean anything crazy. But try new things, have it go wrong, learn from it, pay attention to what happened.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, you could, try something new, have it go wrong, and from that experience, figure out a right thing to do that you wouldn't have thought of prior to making those mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I mean, it's extremely valuable. As long as you have the right intentions, like you can't blame yourself for something not being great if you gave it, an earnest shot. And like, all right, well, like for instance, a while back when I was still working with Abronia, we had done an Unfiltered Reptiles podcast with Ron St. Pierre, and he had talked about how he does a lot of his hydration of his lizards at night. And, explaining like how it would make more sense with the dew cycle, et cetera, et cetera. And I was like, all right, sure, let's give this a shot. And I switched over all the Abronia misting systems to go off during the night. And I did not like the results of it. But
really,
yeah, they just, the animals didn't seem as hydrated. And you good?
Yeah, sorry.
No, don't worry at all. And the main issue, and this is probably one of the things that would have separated his setup from mine, was, Florida, obviously throughout a majority of the year, very warm.
Yeah.
And when you're doing a room that's, primarily focused for Abronia, and I think at the time I was starting to kind of, actually, you know what, I may not have even dipped my toes into the rattlesnakes yet. That room is always going to be getting fairly cool at night, if not cold at night. And if all of your spraying is occurring during the night, the lights aren't on to evaporate some of that moisture. The bedding got super bogged down, and it had to replace a lot of it. I was like, yeah, all right, that did not work. But wouldn't have known otherwise. So it's like, can't really be that, like, can't beat yourself up over that. What would have been bad is if I had just like let it go and let that bedding get really disgusting and the animals start getting fungal infections and stuff like that. Okay, now you're doing something wrong. But just attempting a new concept based on new information and it not working out, it's like, well, that's how you figure out if it works or not. There's no other way to actually give that a shot. So, advancing husbandry is not always finding the next right thing to do. You got to cross a lot of wrong things off the list on the way to figuring out what you actually want to be doing.
Yeah. And be ready for heartbreak.
Yeah.
There's a lot of that too.
Yeah.
A lot of that you don't see.
No, you don't. I mean, I don't post my heartbreak moments. I don't think, anyone's obligated to, but man, they happen and they freaking sting. So
yeah.
It's a huge part of what we're doing, especially if you're working with anything that's kind of, off the beaten path. This is how it was for the ball python breeders of the 80s, and the people who were pioneering what they were doing. It's like, yeah, it didn't start off like this. You weren't hitting triple recessives, in F2. Like, bad stuff happened and you got through it, and you persevered and you learned your lessons. That's how it happened. So
there is a lot of disconnection with where we've come from.
Yes,
like
big time. Totally agree. And I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that the mode of communicating a lot of that information has gone away. Like, a lot of, I would say a big medium that was used for a lot of that old information was like Reptiles magazine, or even, go further back than that. If you are a new keeper and you're on Instagram, obviously you're seeing what's happening right now, but if you really wanted to dig, like, maybe you could go to like a few years pre-pandemic. That's a very tiny little window of herpetoculture. Like, you're missing so much. And a lot of the people who were the industry leaders, even back when we were young, they want nothing to do with this current media landscape. And you can't blame them. But, if you walk around the show, you can name off, it's going to be crazy to say this. Go to Tinley Park, do, a little man on the street with 100 people. Ask them, how many, do you know the name Peter Call? How many people do you think would say yes and list off, call albinos, boas, pied ball pythons, et cetera, et cetera? How many people do you think would even have that answer out of 100?
Probably not many.
Maybe a handful. I guess if you were to go to vendors, okay, that's one thing. But like just your average show goer, like that's crazy. Like, that should not be the case. But we're here nonetheless.
Hard to believe.
Yeah. Or like, Scott said in the chat, even go further back, like Roger Conant, a lot of the old school, herpetologists, where's that work anywhere that's like publicly consumed?
And even like, King Snake was 12 hours from being gone.
Yeah.
12 hours from being archived.
Yeah.
Was it was going to be like stop being paid for.
Yeah.
Right. And it just would have been gone. I don't think it's like a start paying again, and hey, we stored all your information. I don't think that's how it works. So it was like it would have just been gone.
Yeah.
Speaking like something that's like a resource like that. Let me send you this picture. I had seen this picture years ago, and lost it until somebody brought it up to me recently because they were searching through the archives on king snake. And this is arguably the craziest jansenii that anybody has ever laid their eyes on. Like,
Yeah.
let me drop it in your chat. And there's all sorts of crazy things. There's a albino red-tailed green rat from like the early 2000s that's on there. But you know, deep in an archive of I don't even know. Maybe it said 40,000 pictures in my specific search.
Yeah.
Which was probably rat snakes and Gonyosoma.
Yeah.
So a lot of pictures on there, a lot of crazy stuff on there.
We're gonna do a push league because I bet my computer would crash if I tried again, but that is said Gonyosoma.
Yeah, just unheard of. And
like,
this,
what the hell is going on there? That's absolutely insane.
Yeah, this was from like 2007 or something like that. And you know, just like an archive of possibilities. It's like, if that's possible, like, what else is out there? Why is that snake like that?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, you know, another, because, you know, I guess to kind of like point out the elephant in the room, the issue these days with a platform like King Snake up until now is just like how out of date the format is, to where like a new person, obviously if you've been around for a while, you know of kingsnake.com. I mean, I had those tabs pulled up on my phone and computer all the time. It was like in the back of class in high school, just like scrolling through all the, you know, classifieds and stuff like that. But for someone who's new, like, you go to this website that looks like no one's even touched it for 15 years, you know, you're probably not going to spend a whole lot of time on that website.
Right.
I mean, okay, going to a website is probably not something you're going to do anymore. But one, you know, group I'll give a shout out to, I believe the name of the Facebook group is Old School Herpers. I think Michael Berger has a lot to do with that group.
Yeah.
That's a badass Facebook group. You know, just tons of old pictures of herpetoculturists and herpetologists. And I always love when Michael puts up like the old price lists and stuff like that. You know, there'll be pictures of price lists from Strictly or Crutchfield or, you know, Glades Herp, Calzoo, and like, you know, that's what this hobby was 40 years ago, sometimes 50 years ago. Like, that is, I think, for one, it's fascinating for anybody who cares about the history of herpetoculture, which everybody should. Yeah. And then also gives a lot of really good perspective on, you know, kind of where we came from. You know, seeing like these animals that we now really covet and consider rare for like, you know, $20 or something like that, or, you know, like, this is just what, and if you wanted to buy that animal, you're sending your money and you're hoping that it works out, instead of being like, can you send a video of the underside of the tail and outdoor lighting?
Yeah.
Like,
and even in those times, if you were buying a Gonyosoma, you probably weren't too happy with what you were receiving in the mail. I could only imagine.
Yeah, I could imagine as well.
It's probably not too wonderful.
No, Probably not.
So like you hear again, these old school guys that'll tell me like, oh, I've kept a pair of those snakes and they died, and we fed them to my friend's cobra. Yeah, that adds up.
Yeah.
That story checks out.
Yep. Yeah, no, absolutely. So, obviously, like the advancements that have been made, they're almost all good. But I feel like you can't do that while erasing the past. Like it's very important for us to understand where we are now and to progress further. My opinion.
And I think it was probably decently out of the box back then to take something like this, while you're watching ball pythons take off, and over here in the corner, somebody's like, okay, I'm going to breed these rat snakes that want to do nothing but die. And hopefully there's something here. It's like, that's probably not what happened. They probably just went and bought ball pythons.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. So, I mean, I'd have to imagine we're beyond a point where we'll ever get a craze like ball pythons or like the more brief up and down of crested geckos ever again. I guess you can never really say never, but I just can't foresee anything like that ever happening again.
No, I've tried to think about it quite a few times. Like, man, what would it be? And I think like COVID was the perfect storm for the crested gecko. Like it made that animal so famous.
Yeah.
Like just this tiny little super simple to care for, animal. Your half pound of Pangea will last you the next 6 months. You're good to go. And everybody wanted a little friend.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I've tried to think about what it could possibly be. Like you see things have their they have their moments. They have their 2 or 3 seasons. I don't know about a craze though.
No, because there has to be a few different factors. You got to obviously have to be an animal that most, if not all, reptile keepers can actually keep reasonably,
right?
And then you need to I think a huge factor is like the morphology aspect.
Yeah,
like you have to have tons of morphs involved for it to really be that popular, for better or worse. Like that's what draws the casual eye, are crazy color morphs.
Right.
It just is what it is. And then like you kind of need that novelty a little bit too. At this point, I mean, man, how many reptile species are there that really haven't been represented in the hobby that are going to be? It takes a case like a crested gecko of an animal that was thought to potentially be extinct, turns out to be the easiest reptile to breed literally ever, and be a great pet. Like that's the perfect storm for the thing after ball pythons. Like, I'm not sure how many more of those exist on the planet.
Yeah, I think like what we have is, probably what's going to be the big things, like the big things.
Yeah.
And it's like, but that doesn't mean you can't find a project you like, and okay, if you produced 100 of whatever it was, snake, lizard, gecko, you can't find 100 people out there that think this is cool. They may not give you a whole bunch of money for it, but those animals, those 100 animals that you put out, into the hands of 10 different keepers, that might generate some attention, and then like they may be worth something after after that,
For sure.
worth is it's based on demand.
Yeah.
And if something goes crazy for you, you could be onto something.
For sure.
It's
I think we're coming into the era of like, nothing being the dominant. I mean, ball pythons will always be ball pythons, but like to where the next ball python might be finding that thing to really make yours that is underappreciated, because it's probably not going to be something new,
right.
more than likely. And frankly, that's probably not even where the longevity is. The longevity is in taking something and showing the world why it is so special. Like, it would be so cool to be able to go to a big reptile show in like 20 years and, no single species has more than like 20% representation at that show.
Yeah.
Like that would make herpetoculture so much better. That'd be a huge advancement.
And the crazy thing is, like, even if you do all this work and like get a bunch of different keepers, to invest and start keeping this new project that you start, if it's not a fun animal to keep, or people just don't really like it, like, things can fade really quick. So
Yeah,
it's like,
sure.
just to, it can seem like there's a lot of people keeping an animal out there until, like, 50% of those people get out, and those animals like don't stay in pairs, or things die, or things of that nature, and projects just start falling apart. I'm thinking a lot about like the blue beauty anoles, and what a crazy dive that those things took over the course of like 3 years. I mean, coming from like $8,000 or $10,000, and like now you can buy one for $375.
Banana
and there's
ball.
not many out there, and it's an animal that's probably not going to come into the country again. And it was a big fad thing that like a bunch of people bought into, because they thought they were going to reproduce anoles that were worth $4,000 a piece, and they slowly started getting out when they realized that wasn't the case.
Yeah, another one that is, has similarities and differences, but kind of that same huge fad boom, and then kind of what the hell happened, probably to a greater extent on that latter part, like I brought up earlier, were the Abronia.
Yeah.
I mean, pre-COVID and during COVID, they were super hot. Everyone and their mother wanted them some Abronia. And, frankly, there were a lot of them that were finding their way over here.
Right.
Tons of different species. And now, like, there may be a few people who are consistently producing a few of the more common species. And I give those people a lot of credit for what they're doing. But, like, talk about a quick rise and quick fall fad, man. That was, and the toll it took on the animals too. That like was the worst part. If the fad is a bunch of captive bred reptiles, okay, that's one thing. If the fad is diminishing a wild population with nothing to really show for it at the end of the day, like that's like, we shouldn't as a hobby want to be involved in something like that.
I agree. Yeah.
So, it's all, a lot of this stuff is, learning some of the lessons to not repeat them again, kind of like we were saying earlier. But I guess, do you have any thoughts on like, what with those kind of fads that popped up, is there anything that could have been done differently by the people who were really pushing them, to where you get the message out, you spread the awareness, create popularity, but maintain a more moderate growth kind of trajectory than a quick spike? People go crazy for them and then kind of lose interest in a little bit.
Yeah, it's it's so interesting to see people's collections, and I feel like it's just not that often that you like go to somebody's place and they just have like a crazy one-off animal. And it's like I feel like the blue beauty anoles, like once the price started going down, the people that bought them in hopes that they were gonna, be able to sell them for a significant amount of money, they just kind of became that like strange other thing that they had. They just like slowly started to get sold off. I don't know. I mean, that's even the case with like the Western giant anoles that I have here. There's like me, and then my buddy John, Crown Giant. And I can't name a single other person that's producing them.
Okay.
Yeah. And they're come from Cuba. They're not coming in again. And like if I stopped producing them and he stopped producing them, like the odds of anybody seeing them for a while is probably not very high.
Yeah.
So I think like him and I represent like again, like if there's somebody else out there, I'd love to know about it. But John and I currently represent this animals, obviously the people that I've sold to and that are raising those animals up.
Right.
Fantastic. I'm sure they're going to do great things. But like besides those animals, like John and I represent this animal's entire existence.
Yeah.
Be crazy.
Yeah. No, definitely.
And like Ron produced a lot of them, and a lot of people bought them. Like, and I've produced now, I think about 80 of them.
Okay.
It's like 80 of them can disappear really, really quickly. It's just the nature of it. 80 of them dispersed across the United States is a very small number.
Yeah.
Especially if people aren't connected on social media that buy them, and it's just whatever, they have a pair, one doesn't do well, or they never produce for whatever reason, whatever the case may be, and then those are two animals that are not contributing to any growth in the population.
Yeah.
But again, like I love the lizards, and I'm glad that these are the ones that I have now. And I'll keep producing them. And now I've got some holdbacks, this is my third year producing them.
Nice.
So got a trio of holdbacks, and my buddy John and I were able to trade some bloodlines this year at Daytona, because he lives down there in Florida.
Cool.
So I gave him a little female, and I got a little female. And it's just like, another little project that keeps the mind working and moving and doing something different.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, absolutely. I've got UV to check. I've got to spray them every day. Need to feed your crickets and roaches and the whole deal.
Yep. That's what it's all about. Just keeping it fun, keeping that passion going, finding something to keep your interest, and keep it from becoming kind of monotonous and laborious.
Yeah, and it feels like you're doing it's just like not another lizard. Like,
right.
Yeah,
100%. Absolutely. Yeah, that's awesome. Well, we're just over that 2-hour mark, kind of definitely in
nice.
like wind down phase. I'm kind of trying to think if there's anything else to really hit on before we get out of here. But I mean, I know it's obviously it's quite late out where you are now. So I appreciate you, staying up to do the show.
Absolutely.
So
this is my Friday. I'm off Thursday,
okay.
Friday, so I'm chilling.
Nice.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Perfect. That's awesome. Well, yeah, I don't feel quite as guilty now keeping you up late. But I guess, yeah, it's kind of winding down the year here. For next year, do you have anything really like any major goals on your mind as far as, whether it be projects or improvements on the collection? Like what are you really trying to do 2026?
Yeah. Always trying to make improvements. I have a couple female jansenii that I haven't proven yet, so I'd love to get those proven.
Cool.
And then,
Okay.
Really locking in on the red tail green rats. Man, people
All right.
love that snake. And like, there's a lot of people that love that snake that don't keep a whole lot of reptiles, but know what that snake is because it's an iconic snake. It's like if you know like snakes from that region, it's like it's like a mangrove snake, like black and yellow, like, and then people know the red tail green rat. So there's like a lot of people out there that don't own a whole lot of snakes, but when they see those captive bred red tails, man, they freaking fly. It's crazy. Crazy.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And for every one of those captive ones that are sold, makes you feel a little bit better of all these imported ones. It's like every captive one that you put out there, it's like you potentially also saved one of these people from the nightmare that is that species in a lot of situations.
Sure.
Or the second they start to go bad, because they just go bad, don't seem to get better. But the focusing on the red tails, because I think there's just like a ridiculous amount of possibility and opportunity with those snakes. And again, the captive stuff is like in its enclosure, super calm and willing to sit out. So if you're fine just observing your snake and watching it, do its thing, like a fantastic snake for you.
Yeah.
Like sometimes, it's also a little interactive. If you do mess with it a little bit, it's going to throat puff and it's going to do the slow tongue flick. So it's like, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And if you mess with it too much, it's going to bite or it's going to flee. But man, I have a couple captive bred red tails, two that are like 2.5, 3 years old, right around that range.
Okay.
And then I have some little babies, and they're like just night and day attitude wise from the imported stuff. So I'm excited just to see how they progress.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I'm excited to keep up with your project as well throughout the coming year. I guess the one thing I want to ask you about before we get out of here, on the Gonyosoma topic, I assume you've been seeing them. What are your thoughts on these Gonyosoma margaritatum that have been floating around over the last probably 6 months to a year or so?
They're a lot of money.
They're a lot of money.
And if you are not willing to trash that money, there's probably not the snake for you to buy. Yeah. Probably not the snake for you to buy.
Yeah.
I've heard some lower numbers on some import stuff, like $2,750.
Okay.
That's a lot of money, though. And the other thing is the amount of people, say whatever, you did spend your $6,000 or call it $8,000 you spend on this pair and somehow get these to reproduce. What are you going to sell these babies for? And who the fuck you think is going to buy them?
Yeah.
There's other things out there like the Bella rat snakes. I'm trying to think of where they come from. Kind of like an uncommon terrestrial, really, really pretty snake, but they're expensive and they're uncommon, and there's no traction to them because they're whatever $3,000 a piece, and it's just not what people are. Yeah, it's just not. It just doesn't add up.
Yeah.
Like maybe you get a zoo or some facility like that to buy your pair of captive bred babies for $10,000, maybe. But like, yeah, it's just too much money is for what they're asking, and it's just like the market is not there. The amount of people that are going to hand out what it's going to cost you to recoup the money from that, it's just not going to happen.
Yeah. 100%. I kind of feel like it's the same deal when the crocodile tegus started coming into the country.
Yeah.
It was like, oh my God, crocodile tegus. And they were like, I think like 10 to 12 grand a pair.
Uh-huh.
And it's like, all right, well, the handful of people who would buy them for that much got them. All right, well, now you have this aquatic lizard that you gotta. It's not like they're not going to bring them in anymore. The floodgates have just opened. It's not like they were going to be open for a second, and now I think they're like 2,500 a pair.
Yeah.
In 5 years, 6 years. It's like
yeah. I even think of something extreme like Bolin's. Okay, you spend 20 grand on a pair, and it's like, yeah, a clutch of fully fertile eggs could be 200,000. Like, it's like that's a little different than like, okay, buy these rat snakes for $8,000, and it's like not a big snake, not going to lay a whole lot of eggs.
Yeah.
Like, man, it's a hard sell.
Yeah, I agree. It's just that it's like the novelty of it. Like, they're clearly one of the most, you could argue, the most beautiful snake in the entire world.
100%.
And they've really never been available in the hobby.
No.
But they're Gonyosoma, and they have a rough track record. There's a reason why it's worthwhile to spend the money on oxys or jansenii, is because you're not taking a second mortgage out on your house to buy a group of oxys. Yeah. And if you buy 10 animals and 5 of them make it, you're pretty happy. If you buy 10 Marjorie Tatum, you're living under a bridge unless you're extraordinarily wealthy. So like, it's
I mean,
not a risk I'm willing to take.
I can't see them ever, like, I don't think the import price is gonna get that low. Like they know what that snake is.
Yeah, for sure.
There, like, would I try to get a pair? 100%. I would not be paying. I would not be paying crazy money like that. That would be a situation where it was like a, somebody that I know imported it, and I pay what they paid to import it.
Yeah, sure.
I'll pass it along to you type situation.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's just not that many people that are going to fork over the money for your captive bred pair. Like not at those import prices.
And you can kind of equate it to the Bolins a bit, where these days the Bullens that Scott Flood is producing and selling, they're not very different in price from the wild caughts.
No,
because you can't go too much more than 10 grand a freaking snake.
no.
Like sustainable markets aren't created by 5-figure animals. So I almost feel like if you were to buy, like, what would you say any one of the retail flipper websites that gets these Marjorie Tatum in, like, what are they putting them up for? I feel like I've seen like 7,500 a piece.
Yeah, there's ones there's ones that are coming like more private routes.
Sure.
And I heard like 2,750 is what. I mean, that's a lot of money still.
Sure. No doubt.
Still. And they could just die. Like,
right. Yeah.
And they could have lungworms, and that is not a good thing to deal with on your $3,000 snake.
No, not at all. Yeah, I mean, I feel like, let's even say like someone buys them retail, you spend 10 grand on your pair. I feel like by the time you're breeding them, if you even can get there, you're like, you'd probably be shooting to sell pairs for 5 grand or maybe 6 grand. So like you're buying in at the high, anticipating selling them for cheaper than you're buying them. It's like that. Mm-hmm. From a business standpoint, seems like a bad move. If it's like your dream animal and you've been waiting for years for this,
sure.
Okay, that's one thing. Like if money is no object in the situation to you, go ahead. Like that's they're here now. Like if you waited forever for them, great.
Now's the time.
Yeah, but if you are trying to put any sort of logic behind the decision, it doesn't hold up under scrutiny. So.
There's a couple other. I'm sitting here trying to think of what they are. A couple other snakes that I was thinking like that, and where it's like the risk is just nowhere near worth the reward. Like the only way that snake has like any hope is like somebody like voluntarily just collects and sends them to somebody over here, for free. Like, it's
I feel like it's a little bit more of an extreme as far as their vitality and captivity, but from like the same, unavailable, hyped up, really cool off, weird snake, but the price tag was nothing like these, where when like it's probably 2018, 19 when the dragon snakes were coming in. People were really hyped with the dragon snakes, and find me a dragon snake that was from 2018 or 2019. I'd love it if there were, but like
they're all bad.
Are we back?
We're back.
Hey, that was the easiest glitch yet. Let's go. But yeah, like that to me is classified as one of those reptiles that probably should just stay in the wild forever. So, which I don't think that's what we're looking at here with the Marjorie Tatum. So that's definitely a much more extreme version of this, but still, it's quite.
They just know that how rare that snake is, and are not willing to sell it for any less than a lot of money.
Yeah.
And this other route is like a private pay to collect.
Yeah.
Route type.
Yeah. You gotta have your people in different places.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. And there's a lot of people that not a lot of people, but there's people that know people that are making that happen, but still again at $3,000 a piece. And again, I won't pay like an adult jansenii $500. That's what I'm paying for it.
Yeah.
Like I am not no more. Like a wild caught jansenii, I'm paying $500 for it. Like not 600, not anymore. Like and like red tails, I really, really try to be at like 250 or less a piece because I know the outcome. Like not all the time, obviously, but it's a are you willing to lose it type deal. And like, man, if you compare those prices to the royal tree snakes, it's like, man, if I wouldn't be willing to lose 1,000, we're talking 3,500 or 2,750 for one.
Yeah. No.
And then think you're gonna make any money on the babies.
Right. Because it's one of those markets of like, it's very top heavy. It's like, all right, there's this group of keepers that's like, oh my God, I never thought this would happen. Okay, what about when all of them have it?
Yeah.
Then what?
Uh-huh.
Then what do you do? Because they bought, let's even say all of those keepers that are at that top end bought like 10 of them, which is a lot and probably not the case. But even then, it's like, all right, well, it's 10 years down the line. Now what do you do? Everyone has them who wants them at for $3,000 a piece.
Right.
If they were like, okay, you got oxys, you got jansenii, and then you got Marjorie Tatum, and there's kind of like the little tier system. All right, you might find a much bigger clientele down there, but are you willing to cut your price by half to a third, or by or 2/3? It's like, that might be tough to swallow if you invested, big 5 figures into your original group. So,
and like there was those Bella rat snakes. There was a group of them that sat on fauna for like quite literally years because the dude spent a bunch of money on them, right? On the group, raised them up. I think he was selling a baby with the group. Maybe it was like a proven trio and then the one baby, and he had an outrageous amount of money in this group and nobody would buy these animals. And they just sat on there for like literally ever.
Yeah.
Like, and every once in a while you'd see the post renewed. Who knows what ended up happening to them, but it's like it just wasn't worth that to anybody. Like,
yeah,
even a hobbyist deal. Like, man, I'm trying to think of like, like other average hobbies. It's like, okay, you went and spent $3,000 on a new pair of golf clubs. It's like, I think this guy was asking $25,000 for this group of snakes. And it's like, yeah, they're super cool, but it's like, I'm the one that cares about it, and I'm not spending anywhere near $25,000. Like, not. And that's why these projects, they just like don't progress. Like, just don't go anywhere. It's just not a reasonable number to think like this one-off animal, like somebody's going to go up and like, save up.
Yeah.
$5,000 to buy this snake that me and 12 other people care about. Like,
right. Yeah. That's definitely, that's not a very easy sale to come by.
Yeah. But like $500 to even like $1,500 snakes, like, sell pretty well.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Like, oxys and jansenii.
Yeah.
Fit right in that ballpark.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's I think it's probably good that the market's chilling out a little bit as far as like hype over extraordinarily high priced animals. It'll always be there to some degree, but
Right.
I feel like if, like you said, yeah, that kind of 500 to 1500 range, like if most reptiles can fall into that kind of distinction, I think it's going to create a lot of good longevity. And like if you're a reptile breeder, seller, man, if someone wants to hand you $1,500, that's a good day, no matter who
Yep.
you are.
No.
Like I've never had a bad day when someone's given me $1,500 for a snake. Never once. So, if you're really looking to gouge more than that, and obviously if it's something that's worth more than that, then by all means. But if you can't be satisfied within that range, then
Right.
that's you got to be a little more realistic with what you're trying to accomplish. So, but yeah, I don't know. I think it's a good kind of return to the middle a little bit, back to a little bit of reason.
Yeah, there's another animal that like that comes to mind is the rough-snouted geckos from New Caledonia, kind of like a I think that's what it's called. Big, strange gecko. They're not super popular, but like some of the guys that like big into lychees, you'll see have them, and it's like an expensive lizard, and they generally stay pretty expensive, and I think they're usually in that like close to 3,000 range.
Okay.
And it's one of those you don't really see too often, and they just like don't really go anywhere. Like, cause you're just like, people are just like, I'll just buy, a lychee. They're just like won't even mess with it. Like they'd rather just spend the 3,000 on a lychee because it's easier to sell a lychee.
Yeah.
Than this other kind of one-off $3,000 gecko.
Yeah, for sure.
It's like the same with some of these rat snakes. You'll get like the hardcore people that'd be willing to buy those Bella rats or royal trees. But outside of that, I even think of like some of the red tails coming out of Borneo. Like some of that blue stuff is going, $2,500.
That's crazy
for a wild caught import, and that thing could roll on you in 24 hours for no reason. Like,
yeah. Well,
and like many things will not do that, and like these will.
Yeah. My thought with that animal in particular, or those ones, I'm like, man, how do you even know that thing is going to stay looking like that, nonetheless reproduce anything that looks like that?
Yeah.
Like you're buying a slightly different looking wild caught version of an animal that is 10 times less expensive than what you're paying for this.
Yeah.
It's not even like that shade is too far off from what they normally are.
Right.
If it was solid red as an adult, okay, you got my attention, but you take it and you like turn the saturation up like that much,
right?
And you increase the price tenfold. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Like, what if it sheds and it's like green?
I know.
I mean, I'm like, dude, that's especially with how variable those snakes are. Like, there's orange ones, there's gray ones, there's green ones, there's blue ones. It's like they're a naturally variable snake. Who's to say this isn't just like a new population that someone started to collect from?
Right.
And they're all over the place. Who knows?
And like you got to find somebody that's willing to pay, if you put $5,000 into that.
Yeah.
pair, which maybe you're just happy getting the $5,000 back. I mean, there is a lot of people that are, as long as they break even, they're happy with what they're doing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. More power to them.
Yes, no, for sure. And this is not necessarily to like discourage anybody from working with a species that or a project they're really passionate about. It's more like, think a little bit before you dive. And this is maybe me trying to give advice to my younger self who needed this advice. But
Yeah, don't take your $7,000 and go spend it on things that there's a very small market for. That's not the not the move. Yeah, sure, you could maybe you'll end up selling those snakes, those 3 or 4 babies that you produce in that first clutch. Maybe they don't lay a lot of eggs. Man, even at $5,000 a piece, a couple babies run you $20,000. It's like you're gambling.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and usually live animals aren't the best gamble.
No.
Across the board.
No, especially when they oftentimes come with the crustaceous parasite that will ruin your collection.
Yeah. Yeah. Not great.
No.
So, but I guess what's a more positive note we could end on other than crushing everyone's hopes and dreams for working with these really cool snakes?
There are a lot of other really cool snakes out there that don't cost an arm and a leg, like captive red-tailed green rats, arguably one of the most beautiful snakes out there. I think I love green snakes, so
yeah,
right in my wheelhouse. Does not cost $3,000.
Well, let's end on this. I had this one written down earlier. I guess we'll stick with colubrids. What are a couple colubrids that you see as like having untapped potential for someone to really take them and make like a real project out of it and kind of move it forward beyond where it is now, like one that's in need of that?
One that I think there not that there are not people already doing this, but the neotropical bird snakes.
Yeah,
they're obviously John and Jason.
Yeah,
but I think those snakes are going to be very, very, very popular.
I agree.
Yeah, they are. They're one awesome snake, and in my experience, very handleable and just like all around easy to care for, pretty problem free.
Yeah,
snake. I haven't really had any issues with mine.
Yeah.
And the colors are just insane. And the fact that they do so well just eating eggs. Like I have a good friend that keeps reptiles that's allergic to rodents. And it's like, well, there's your snakes are out the window. Can't even touch them, they'll get knives. It's like, well, we got people out there here who are feeding these bird snakes literally nothing but, warmed up eggs out of the fridge. And that's probably what I feed mine, like 70% of the time.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Very cool.
They just tear them up. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, I think that animal has a whole lot of potential. I think the red-tailed green rats have a whole lot of potential, specifically not only because so many are imported, and obviously they either get bought and most of them die, or they die where they were imported to.
Yeah.
But obviously all those snakes are going somewhere, and so far the demand has been very high. So I think those have a lot of potential, and there are clearly so many different color forms out there. So I think like the designer possibility is going to be very interesting.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
For sure. Yeah, that'll be really interesting to see. I think like a cool thing to line breed for would be like the silver look with like a lot of really cool like speckling of blue and green pattern throughout the body. Try to like select for like a denser and denser speckling.
Yeah,
I think that'll be really cool.
And there have been a decent amount of albino red tails out there.
Okay.
Over the years. It's not a one thing. It's probably a dozen things.
Really? That many?
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, even just in the time that like I've been interested in them, call them 5 years, like a couple of them have come up.
Okay.
Like I said, there's a picture of one on king snake from like early 2000, I think, maybe like 2002.
Okay.
Something like that. And yeah, I think that's like a totally achievable thing. Like it would be pretty cool to see an albino because they're pretty much see-through, which is crazy.
Wow.
Yeah, they kind of like some of the it's like the melanistic the Synodon, Boega Synodon.
Okay.
Those like you can see all their intestines and everything when they puff up.
Oh yeah.
That's what it is. Super crazy.
Okay.
Yeah, and then I wonder like what other crazy possibilities are there.
Yeah.
And I want like it'd be cool to see if there is like possibility for like a true melanistic.
That would be cool. I mean, considering that it exists in jansenii, I wouldn't see why not in oxys.
Yeah, I'm wondering if I could potentially have somebody look at some of these sheds that I have, see if there's any or see if there's any differences is the better way to put it. They probably do have a lot of similarities, but are there any differences? It's definitely a different thing, quote unquote, going on because they're not as it's like not as robust of a snake as jansenii. But also when you look at red-tailed green rats, like the Malaysian animals are way bigger than the Indonesian stuff. It's like that's the same species.
Yeah.
Just
considering,
I mean, you can see it right out of the egg. I have this one Malaysian baby that hatched right before this Indonesian clutch, and the baby is like literally twice the size.
wow.
Yeah, crazy. It's like that's like one of the biggest determining factors of the locality information.
Yeah.
It's like you are giant and you are not.
I mean, shoot, a lot of the species in that, Indonesian archipelago, there's a lot of speciation that ends up being present once they're looked at more closely. So I'd have to imagine the same thing could probably exist there.
Yeah, I think in the next couple of years we'll start to see more of that like Borneo and Philippine stuff start to make its way over here. It's happening a little bit more right now, but it's like very low amounts of animals. It's like one or two, but I think we'll start to see more stuff coming out of that area.
Yeah.
I hope, because everything coming out of Borneo is insane looking, just crazy.
Yeah. Well, if any Borneo collectors are listening to this, get on it.
Yeah. Send it this way.
Yeah. Hell yeah. Well, cool, man. I'm really excited to see the future of the project. Really excited to see where you take it. And I've felt the momentum from the outside on the Ockies in particular, but Gonyos in general, and can only imagine what it feels like to be one of the people spearheading it. So I'm excited to see how the future plays out with them.
Yeah, I'm super excited. I think it's gonna be cool to start like playing with the colors and stuff. And once I can get like ideal pairs together, like color wise for animals, like I really want to start making like some black and silver, just like the craziest ones that I can. But then like some people really like the high tan stuff and like the lower black, higher tan stuff. And some people really like the green and black stuff. So being able to, make all those different flavors rather than like right now, I'm obviously putting together what I have. Jansenii is the jansenii at this point. But once I can be like, okay, I have these 4 silvers, these 4 tans, like you guys can each be like, your own little project. That's hopefully down the line doing some more selective breeding stuff with those, and definitely the red tails. Those are gonna be crazy.
Hell yeah. I'm excited, man. Well, for anybody who wants to keep up with your projects and, inquire about future availability and whatnot, what's the best way to get a hold of you and keep up with what you're doing?
All on Instagram, More Than Morelia.
Cool.
Yeah.
And are you on Morph Market as well?
I am. Yeah. The link is in my bio on Instagram.
All right. Perfect. Well, dude, thank you again for being with me tonight, talking. This was a great conversation. And as always, it was a pleasure to get to talk to you.
Absolutely. Appreciate you, dude.
All right. Well, thank you everybody for tuning in to the episode tonight. Really appreciate it. Catch you all back here next week for a new show.